Thank you, Madam Chair. It's not what's in the bill, it's what's left out of the bill that I wanted to ask. Last week, as you know, I brought up the fact that we had put $500 million back in the budget for fire, and I rattled off 4 or 5 projects just in my local community that I knew were not funded, and that was about $5 million worth, and I wondered why that's not in this budget. We're going to be out for a month, and fires are raging across my district and many other districts, and we're right in the middle of fire season, and we have the resources available and we have the projects available. I was wondering why that wasn't added to this resources trailer bill.
Thank you, Senator Dahle. And as we mentioned last week, through early action, we have $536 million that's been released and is allocated for some 4 projects in local areas, and there will be further discussions in regards to the remainder. But my understanding, and I have my colleague Sergio Aguilar on the line for some details, my understanding is that those funds are going out now, and that the funds that are in the budget for this year will also be expended later, but that there are projects going on currently.
Yeah, Sergio Aguilar, Department of Finance, just to elaborate a little bit more, yeah, the departments are currently working on implementing the early action funding, which primarily most of it is already committed to different projects. And again, the $500 million, which in the Budget Bill Junior last week, which the governor already signed, that is now set to be accelerated into the now current year in 21-22, but the allocation of those funding will be discussed over the summer.
So I want to be clear. I'm trying to figure out where I have to go to get the resources for projects that I have on the books that are CEQA ready to go. They're shovel-ready projects, and I'm confused. So I know that, did we spend all the early action money, I guess is what my question is. And if not, are those funds available right now? And if they are, I want to know where I go find them to get them to the projects that I need to fund on the ground. And what I was told last week was we were going to put it in a trailer bill. So 129, I think it was Budget Bill Junior, which was signed yesterday, had the resources in it, and we added $500 million. So are we going to wait till we come back to figure out how to spend that money? That's my question. Or is there money right now available for the projects that I outlined and the many more that I am finding in all throughout California, not just my district?
Yeah, so the additional $500 million that was discussed in last week's hearing that was signed by the governor in the Budget Bill Junior is not currently yet available. That's going to be allocated later this summer to specific categories of funding, similar to how the early action was allocated.
But on the question of the early action money, it's still being distributed, correct? So in terms of the question that Senator Dahle was asking, shouldn't some of the conservancies and others that are receiving that money be the ones who have that so that he could direct such projects to applying to them?
Yeah, and a lot of the funding, especially the conservancies, to our understanding, has been already committed to certain projects. And so to the extent there's information you have on certain projects, we could definitely relay that information to the agency and CAL FIRE and other departments. But to our understanding, a lot of that has been committed already to projects.
So just one last comment. So that's not satisfactory to me. The fact of the matter is, which we stated last week, was that CAL FIRE is doing their job, which I love those people. I got a lot of them calling me last week saying, I'm not beating up on them. They have a job to do and they're doing it. But our job is to make sure that we keep our communities safe, and we have more money than we've ever seen in this state, and we just simply can't get it out. I have projects available that are not funded. My conservancies and my fire safe councils, the conservancies allocated their funds. You just stated that. That's correct. Why don't we give them the more funds so they can allocate them if CAL FIRE is not able to do it? That's the point I'm trying to drive home, and I'm trying to figure out how we do that. I've been talking with my chairman of Sub 2 almost every day, and I'm finding more projects than what I stated earlier that I want to get funded, not next year, I want them funded now. So I'm having a, I understand it's not going to happen in this budget. I'm really frustrated the fact that we're going to not put money where it needs to go. I'm sorry if one agency can't get it out, but there are other agencies that do this every day, like the conservancies, and they work with our fire safe councils, our RCDs, and they're ready to do it. So for the life of me, I'm very frustrated right now that we can't put this money to the ground, and we're going to wait. We're going to take a recess, and then we're going to try to figure it out. So it's going to be September, 2 months probably before we get money on the ground, and then it'll be into the fall. So that's the problem, is that if one agency is not able to do it and others are, then let's redirect those funds to the agencies that can get it done. Because at the end of the day, we're still doing the right thing by getting the project done.